ADAS. Okay. So here's the thing, guys. These Toyotas come with 3 and 4 of these on one bumper cover of the silver foil stickers, usually a couple of the foam blocks. And you guys have been fixing cars for how long? And you all truly believe you do the best job you can, but you guys don't even know what this is for. And don't feel bad. My wife, bless her heart, guy ran into her, wrecked her Lexus. And inside the front bumper on her Lexus, a 23 Lexus UX hybrid, it had that foil sticker. I have a picture of it in the bag and the part number with it because I was curious too. But I had to tell them what it was because they didn't know what it was. They've been working, they're Toyota certified. Crazy, right? Toyota and Lexus. Now my question is, do I tell them? Should I tell them? What is it? Yeah, what is it? Okay, so the foam block, they're both for fuel economy, by the way. Okay? The foam block prevents distortion of the cover at speed, ensuring that airflow is controlled over the surface of the vehicle to maintain a predictable arrow shape that preserves fuel economy. The metallic strip is a static control device. There's no static in Regina, right? Or Moose Jaw. You guys don't get static here, do you? Oof. Oh, man, I walked to my doorway and I got zapped by the friggin' key hitting the lock. So the static buildup, it manages static buildup to ensure airflow moves over the surface of the part in a predictable way. Maintaining airflow helps the vehicle maintain its advertised mile per gallon or range per kilowatt effectiveness. Okay? And by the way, here's Toyota's patent on that device. Okay? Just so you know I'm not making it up, there's the hyperlink. If you guys type this, you can go get that, patent. I like to ensure that people think I don't just make stuff up, right? So I try to include links. And by the way, this is the actual part that went on my wife's Lexus. And it's called a molding/tape. Okay, so the next question. If that device controls and manages static, does that imply that static is important? It's worth considering, isn't it? Do different plastics generate different levels of static? Does it matter what the bumper's made out of now? Plastic isn't plastic anymore, people. Okay, and this is, I have a list of these. Okay, so next time, I'll have a different one to stump y'all with. Okay? How often have somebody put a bumper on and they forgot to do this? They didn't put this back on. Or worse, they put it in the wrong place. Okay. What about non-OEM parts? All you guys, my understanding is there's a lot of Kappa parts used up here in Saskatchewan, right? What do you guys do with this yellow sticker? What's the process? Paint over it, hide it, okay. Do you guys save half of it? Okay, where do you guys save the half? You stick it on a checklist for the car. Perfect, good, that's a good process. Where does the checklist go? Oh, it goes in the claim, goes in a filing cabinet, okay. Okay, and then it goes up on top of the spray booth, right, in a box? Perfect. So if I was to tell you that every month a list is published that decertifies a whole host of Kappa certified parts, and by your use of a Kappa certified part, you are agreeing to go and verify that no parts that you've used got decertified. And you had to go back and look at all those cars you fixed. How would you do that? Because it's not like it's only a few parts. Okay, this is just a list from September of 23. And I just grab random dates, right? Whenever I do this for a group, so this is September 23. These are all the decertified parts. This is April 2024, and then this was January 25. These are just lists of random months. I just pick random months. Every month, it's a new list. How many of you guys have called a car back that maybe got one of these decertified parts on it that you needed to? Okay, well, here's the good news. Kappa realized that the process sucked. Okay? So, one, you can get the decertified list. That's one thing you can do, and you can manually go looking for it. Okay, you can sign up and get that email sent to you. I do. I get it every month. I usually delete it unless I have a presentation coming up, in which case I save it and put it on a slide. Okay, so this is what their list is. Okay, and if you want that, you can go right here and get yourself on the list. Okay, or every repair. And this might be something that gets added to your thing. If you're going to use a CAPA certified part, once it meets all your performance criteria, you can use the CAPA tracker. And they've got an app for that, right? So in that app, you take each part number, you put your shop code in, you sign up, and you can record the RO number and then the part numbers that are CAPA certified with the barcode into that. Now you have a use for the yellow sticker. Right? Isn't that great? Okay, so let's say you get a CAPA part, and okay, I'll wait a minute. Okay, let's say you get a CAPA part and you file a complaint. So I've had a shop filing these complaints religiously, and here's what they get. Oh, we're sorry to inform you that we were unable to purchase the part. However, CAPA has notified the manufacturer of the problem that you observed and will be monitoring the part. So it's the same shop, and they just keep getting these same letters back. So what they're doing now is they're saving the part, and they're going to say, hey, CAPA, well, we have one. Would you like to test it? Now, because of the liability in the U.S., shops are getting to the point where they want to test the quality and integrity of these parts themselves. So they're choosing to go about really looking closely at CAPA certified parts. And I'm going to encourage you guys, this is in the US. I pulled up warranty instructions from the US. Please, up here in Canada, is there parts vendors in here in the room? Perfect. You guys are a parts vendor? Okay. What I'd request from you guys is what's the warranty on the CAPA certified part? And this is why I'm asking that, because in the US, we have a company called PartWorks. They have one, and it says this warranty does not extend to commercial vehicles or fleet vehicles. Okay, so does that rule out every farm truck? It's a business, it's a commercial vehicle. Every company that has a fleet of trucks. Okay, now there's another company that has that as well. They're a little bigger, but they say kind of the same thing. Warranty does not apply to commercial vehicles. Mm-hmm. Do you have that in writing? Because I'd love that. Okay, if you get that, I'll send you a 3D printed thing. Okay? All right. But this is the bigger one. LKQ Corporation will not be liable for any incidental or consequential damages arising out of the use of its parts. So some states don't allow that as an exclusion, but my point is, what's the warranty? Don't assume, people. Liability is real. Okay, so shops in the U.S. have taken to the point of they're starting to validate the quality before they even allow it to get on the car. So whether it's an aftermarket or an OEM part, they're performing a hardness test. And in many cases, they wind up with parts. In this case, the OEM fender was 12% stiffer than the aftermarket part, and the hood was 26% stiffer. It's extraordinary times and liability are having repairers go out of their way to try and make sure that they're safe, especially in highly litigious areas like California, Arizona, Texas. You get my point.
So, question. If they're CAPA certified, shouldn't that test have been confirmed already?
Why do they send out a decertification list every month? I'm not going to form any opinions. I'm simply presenting what is fact. So those questions, those are great questions for another time, another audience. But, okay, real quick, this is why it's important. In the U.S., there was a big lawsuit. Some of you heard about it, John Eagle case. In that John Eagle case, the attorney that won the judgment decided to go crash test some cars for the benefit of the collision industry because nobody had ever released the data. By the way, crash tests are performed by insurance companies all the time. Okay? So he went and he got 3 vehicles. The one that he was having his lawsuit on was a Honda Fit. He went and got one, had a roof re-glued on the Honda Fit, and it was going to crash test it. He went and got an original Honda and got it crash tested, and then he got one and put aftermarket parts on the front of the car. Granted, not all the parts were CAPA certified. I'm gonna share that as part of the test, just so everybody's clear, but I want to demonstrate what the consequence is, okay? He did a test, he went through and he had the moderate overlap crash test, and by the way, I was at the aftermarket parts crash test of the blue car. I was there when it happened, okay? I watched it as part of my role with the Society of Collision Repair Specialists. And what wound up happening is that car, this is a picture of the underside of the blue car, showing how the energy is supposed to flow through and where all the deformations occurred, this stuff. And how far back those deformations occurred. They also plotted it with sensors throughout the vehicle showing the amount of energy that was transmitted to the occupants as part of that collision. Okay, and you can see the blue line there is dramatically more energy was sent to the occupants than it was either with the OEM, the original Honda Fit, or with the glued-on roof. The glued-on roof also took a lot more energy, but nothing like the aftermarket parts, okay? So the whole point is there is evidence out there in the marketplace that tends to refute some of these things and claims. Now, I'm not saying don't use aftermarket parts. Do you guys, is it okay to mention a guy like Ronald Reagan? Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, do you guys know who he is? Okay, I'm still a Canadian, but Ronald Reagan said trust but verify, right? And so now when we're putting parts on, look, if we tested those parts and they were just like the OEM, weighed just like the OEM, fit like the OEM, dude, it's perfect. But if it's not, now we have a concern, right? So you can't trust, at least what they're doing in the U.S. Now, we're far less trusting than Canadians, okay? They're confirming the quality is all they're doing. And it's upping the game for the aftermarket part companies because now they're recognizing they don't get to just throw a part out into the team and then pull the part number off because they're getting caught, right? It's China. I'm kidding. That's bad joke, okay? Okay, OEM recommended procedures. Modern ADAS equipment is becoming very complex, right? This evolving complexity is creating new vernacular along with new necessary repair procedures to ensure that vehicles will perform the same in the next collision as they did in the first one. One of the shops, and I'll cut to the chase, we strive to perform all the procedures we feel are necessary to restore your vehicle to 100% of the safety capability it had before the accident, not just the procedures your insurance company only wants to pay for. This is a mantra for shops that are struggling with their relationship with insurers. Not every market I go into has a relationship like what you guys have here, okay? Many of the markets, you're not as lucky. And I'm being blunt, okay? You're very fortunate. Performing repairs as the manufacturer requires or recommends is the best way to avoid repair-related liability. Key phrase should be avoid, I'm keeping somebody up. Just imagine that you're in court and you're asked, sir, for the record and the surviving family members of the deceased, please explain to the court why you did not test or calibrate the impacted ADAS systems for proper operation when you completed the previous repairs as the manufacturer recommended in their specific repair procedures. How can you be 100% certain that the vehicle is fully repaired? With the onboard safety systems functioning as the manufacturer intended, we're capable of properly protecting the now deceased Mr. Smith in any subsequent collision. You don't ever want to have to go through that. Okay? California, we have specific standards that state it. We also have rules that the insurer must pay for those procedures. That's in California. New York is seeking something very similar, only having OE procedures as part of the repairs. Texas is the same thing. They have the same thing. And sometimes we have trouble with the vernacular, right? So I like ChatGPT. So I asked ChatGPT, explain to an insurance company why they need to pay for all the OEM procedures necessary to repair a car after an accident. And in 20 seconds, I had this. And I didn't like it. So I hit it again, did it again. And in 25 seconds, it did this one. And then 18 seconds was the charm. That was the one I liked. So the whole point is ChatGPT can help you sometimes at least get started. And I tell people, most people are better critics than they are creators. So if you've got a starting point, you have a great leg up on being able to go. Overcoming objections to calibrations. So I did two here. Explain to an insurance company why they need to pay for all of the OEM ADAS calibration procedures necessary to repair a car after an accident.